Good morning and welcome to Main Street TV. And it is a beautiful Wednesday today. I think it's supposed to be in the 80s or something. But we are here today with one of our good friends from Holzer Health. It's always a good day when Holzer's in the house. So we have Susan Moore in the studio today. So welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
And later in the show, we will have Rachel from Movies at Manpower. Movie is tomorrow night, so hopefully she'll give us some clues as to what we're going to see in the park tomorrow night. But first, we have an announcement or retraction to make. The other day, Aaron Dupree was in the studio with us talking about the fireworks celebration in Wellston, and he made an announcement about the Wellston hometown hero, and he misspoke his last name. So the Wellston hometown hero for this year is John Waters, and he was a sergeant in the U.S. Army. That's John right there with his wife. He was a sergeant in the U.S. Army and a Screaming Eagle serving 2 tours in Vietnam. So thank you for your service, John, and thank you for what you've done for the city of Wellston. We will be back after a couple words from our sponsors with Susan, and she's going to share some important information with us.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Welcome back. So we are here with Susan Moore from Holzer Health, and you're out in Oak Hill, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so I know the clinic in Oak Hill is relatively new, correct?
Yes, we opened on November 18th.
Okay.
And we are there Monday through Thursday. We start at 7, end about 5:30. We have full service lab. We can do EKGs. We see patients from, children on up to older adults. So the only thing that we can't do there that I could do when I was at Jenkins is x-rays, but
Okay.
if I feel like a patient needs an x-ray, I can send them to Jackson. So,
Okay. That's not too far
no,
to go from Oak Hill to Jackson. So that sounds like it'd be a pretty vital resource in the Oak Hill area instead of everybody having to come to Jackson for, routine types of things
Right.
or minor issues.
yes.
So.
And we were talking earlier, so even if you're not a patient of mine, but you need labs for another physician, you can come to Oak Hill. We
Okay.
can draw their labs. We even do labs for OSU, Riverside. So if your specialist is at OSU and you have to get labs weekly or monthly, you can come to Oak Hill and get those, and
Okay.
we send them up to your provider. So I think that's a good service.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That probably saves people quite a bit of driving.
I think so.
Yeah, especially if you're not feeling well or you're dealing with older individuals or children, like trying to drag children, an hour to go someplace
Right.
as opposed to down the street
Yeah.
to take care of routine
Yeah.
issues.
And sometimes transportation can be a real issue for people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So being there in town, I think it's been a great service.
No, that actually sounds awesome. How long have you been with Holzer?
So I started at Holzer in 2000 when they built the hospital in Jackson on Burlington. So I was one of the first nurses there. And prior to that, I worked at Oak Hill Hospital, so rural hospital that had been there for many years. So that's where I started my nursing career. And then I've been with Holzer since 2000.
Awesome. Do you like the smaller clinic out in Oak Hill versus being at the bigger hospital?
So I do. When I was a nurse, I did community health and wellness. And so we went to a lot of fairs, festivals, different events, and I always found patients that didn't have primary care or they just wasn't sure how to take care of themselves. And so I thought I really want to do more. That's why I became a nurse practitioner. I started out at Jenkins in Wellston, and I loved it. I worked with Dr. Jones and then a couple other nurse practitioners, and we had a great team there. And when they approached me about Oak Hill, I was like, oh, it would be wonderful to be back home, but I will miss my patients in Wellston. I will miss my team. But after thinking about it, I went to Oak Hill, and it was the right decision. I miss people that I worked with and some patients, but I really enjoy, starting anew, getting new patients. And a lot of patients that I've had since I started have came to Oak Hill to see me, and it's really nice. Holzer did a wonderful job with the office. We're small, but it's very, very nice. So,
Well, it sounds like you offer a lot of different services in a smaller clinic, so probably helps for patients to come into that kind of one-on-one experience and kind of being in a smaller, it's not as intimidating, I guess, as going into the hospital experience or a larger medical office or larger medical clinic. It probably helps, once again, I would think with older adults and young children to kind of alleviate some of that anxiety of going into a medical office.
Yeah, and I have a great team. We have Laura, who's our receptionist and secretary. She greets every patient with a smile, and she's just so helpful with everyone. I have my nurse Nicole and Cheyenne part-time that take great care of patients, get to know the patients. My scribe, Nancy, is in the room with me and, is always helpful. Like if a patient needs directions, needs a phone number, she's over there and gets it for them. So we have a great team. My lab tech is Alyssa, and she's wonderful. She wants to help patients. So she's the one, if somebody's coming from Ohio State, sometimes she has to call Ohio State and get orders for them, but she's always willing to do that. So working with a great team really helps.
I would think so.
Yeah.
From experience, when you put together a good team, it makes everybody's life easier, makes yourself easier, but also the patients benefit from it as well. So when you don't have like drama and issues going on and everybody's working together for a common goal, it helps everybody.
Yes.
So we're in the summer season, and I actually, I'm relatively new to Ohio, moved here from California. So, and we got here, number one, I wasn't prepared for this type of heat plus humidity. Because I come from dry heat, and it can be the same temperature, but whatever it is here, it just knocks me on my butt. I'm just, the heat here, 90 degrees here, it's very different than 90 degrees in Southern California. I can do 90 degrees in Southern California, that's nothing. But, so that was one of the issues that we had, and then the bugs. There are bugs here that we don't have in California, especially the ticks. So we've really been trying to gather information to keep ourselves healthy and happy and be able to enjoy the outdoors, but enjoy it safely.
Yes.
So what tips do you have for people so they can enjoy the summer and get out there and enjoy? I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful areas of Ohio. We're surrounded by these lush forests and these amazing lakes, but we want to keep people healthy and safe so they can actually enjoy it.
So if you're going to be out, and I tell people you're going to be mowing, weed eating, you're going to the lake, you're going fishing, wear some kind of insect repellent, light colored clothing. But I think the main thing is when you get home, take a shower. Check your skin. If you feel an area that just doesn't feel right or something's itching, look very closely. Some of our ticks are very, very small.
I've pulled one off that was like what I thought was like a freckle or an age spot. I don't know what else to call them. But it just was a tiny dot. And then when I kind of scratched it a little bit and it came off in my fingernail, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that has legs. And so that kind of really freaked me out, because in my mind a tick is,
what you see on
a little bigger than that, and so that really freaked me out that they were so small, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, my old eyes, and I'm like checking everything, and they're like the color of freckles too. I think of ticks as being like dark black or and this one that I picked off was just tiny and light brown, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes. So what I found is, I see people with tick bites in November. I see people with tick bites in January. And I had a gentleman in, and he said, I live in Texas. And he said, in Texas, the ticks go away for a period of time. But he said in Ohio, they don't seem to. You seem to have them all year round.
That's crazy.
Yes. So if you can get the tick off within 24 hours, that's key to prevention for like Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. The longer the tick's on you, the higher the chance that it's going to cause an infection. I always tell patients, if you pull a tick off and you notice that you're getting what we call bullseye rash, seek medical attention. Sometimes I'll have people come in and they had a tick bite yesterday and it's a little bit red, and they want to be tested for Rocky Mountain spotted fever or Lyme disease, but the recommendations is it'll take at least 4 weeks for those antibodies to, so if you're not having any problems, but then 4 weeks, 6 weeks later, you start to have those muscle aches, joint aches, low-grade fever, maybe a rash, seek medical attention right away. And you were talking about insects, so mosquitoes, you've probably come in contact with them since you've been here.
Yep.
Mosquitoes early in the morning and then around dusk is when they're at their worst. And I'll have patients that say, I really want to sit on my porch, but I can't because of the mosquitoes. So if you have a fan on your porch, or you can put a fan blowing toward you, mosquitoes aren't strong flyers, so they don't like that.
Oh, wow.
So that can help keep the mosquitoes away, so that you can sit out on the porch and enjoy the breeze or talk to the neighbor or whatever. And there are some diseases that mosquitoes can carry. We don't see those real often, but it can happen. So if you've been bitten by a mosquito, it looks red, it doesn't look good, seek medical attention. Again, if you're having fevers, headaches, nausea, which can be any summer virus, but these last, seek medical attention, get some lab work done.
And, if nothing else, they're annoying.
Yes.
I've got bug bites all over my arms and stuff, and it's just annoying because you're sitting there going like this.
And usually some over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream will take the itch away, but we just want to make sure that it's not making people sick. So,
good information. What about staying, avoiding like sunburn and, we want to protect our skin, obviously.
Yes.
It's crazy. When I was young, you would slather yourself in like baby oil, and now I look back and I'm going, oh my gosh, what were we thinking? We were literally cooking ourselves, and I can't even imagine that. Now I'm out there with like sunscreen and a hat and big sunglasses, trying to just protect what I have.
Yeah,
so.
It sounds like you're doing a good job. When you're getting a sunscreen, look for one that says broad spectrum. So broad spectrum will cover both the aging rays and the burning rays.
Okay.
And all sunscreens don't have that. So I think that's a good idea. Reapply every couple hours. If you're swimming or, if you're working and you're sweating, you may have to reapply it sooner. And then if you notice, gosh, my face feels hot, my arms feel hot, you think you're getting a little pink, get out of the sun. It's also very important that if you're out in the sun, to drink plenty of fluids.
I was going to ask about that. I'm always yelling at my husband, if he's out mowing,
Yeah.
you need to take your water with you. You don't wait until you come into the house after you've mowed the entire pasture to say, oh gosh, I might be thirsty.
Yeah, so in June, we had those temperatures up around 100 degrees, and I don't think we realized how much fluid our body's losing. Earlier I was saying, so if you know that tomorrow you're going out to work in the field, you're going to mow hay, or you're going to the beach and you're going to be outside, try to hydrate today. Drink some Gatorade, some Powerade, some water, so that when you're starting out your morning, you're already well hydrated, and then continue that through the day. If you're outside and you're suddenly feeling dizzy, you feel like your skin's hot, you're a little bit nauseous, you're getting too much sun, get out of the sun, get in front of the air conditioner, and, start hydrating. You can have a sunstroke. So if you're around somebody and they've been out and suddenly they're a little bit confused and they're just not acting normal, that's a time to seek medical attention.
I say sunstroke can be really scary.
It can be.
Yeah.
Your organs can start.
It's life-threatening, yeah.
And when it's really, sunny outside, and you're right, we want to go out and we want to get our tan, and so we think, I'm going to stay out here a little bit longer, and often we don't realize, I'm getting dehydrated, I'm getting too hot, until it's too late.
Oh, yeah, or you push yourself too far.
Yeah.
You've gone out for a hike, and, you have to get back to the car.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got to keep going, and so be prepared. I mean, if you're going to go out there and hike, take a big thing of water or something with you.
Yes.
Because, don't go out. I always tell my kids that. Don't go out hiking without ample water, and one little bottle of water
is not enough.
It's not enough. I'm like, hey, take the Camelback, take the big jug or whatever. But yeah, no, I know that being dehydrated is not a fun experience. It just, you feel miserable.
Yes.
And you feel miserable for quite a while.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't realize that it's dehydration. There's got to be something else wrong with me.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. There's got to be something wrong. And, actually you're just behind on fluids. Drink.
Yeah. I always have my giant cup with me, and my family makes fun of me, but I'm also
That's
not
okay.
going to be the one that's going to be dehydrated.
Right.
They're like, seriously, we have to stop to go to the bathroom again? Really? Yes, we do. And the fact that you don't have to go to the bathroom is a clear indicator that
You're not drinking enough.
that you are not drinking enough, and I am. I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
As adults, we know some of these things. Or we know them. We may
Right.
not always admit that we know them, but, yes, I know I need to stay hydrated, but am I really doing it? But what can we do to help keep our kids safe and kind of build those habits so that when they leave the nest, that they carry those habits with them so that, as mom, I worry about my kids constantly. And even so, my oldest is going to be 29, and I still tell him, "Did you take water? You have sunscreen on?"
Yeah, and
It's
I
29.
think kids will follow what their parents do. So if the parents are doing, drinking extra water, drinking Gatorade, applying the sunscreen, and explaining why you're doing it, then kids will learn those habits. I know my grandkids drink lots of water, Gatorade, Powerade, and it's because their parents, encourage that and do those habits. So I think that's important. The other thing I wanted to mention is, so when Amy said talk about summer safety, I'm like, that's a really broad topic. And so I kind of thought, what have you seen in the office? And one of the things I see every year is you're out mowing, you're out weed eating, and you have your sunglasses on because, I'm going to protect my eyes. Sunglasses aren't going to protect your eyes. You need to have those side shields because you can get hit with a rock, debris, and, the patient comes in and says, I had my sunglasses on, but I think a piece of grass got in my eye. If that happens, try to flush the eye. When you're flushing eyes, you can use some saline, some clean water. Always start at the middle of the eye and flush down, keep the eye down. If you're having blurred vision, pain, seek medical attention. If you get like blunt trauma to the eye where a rock flew and hit you, don't try to flush it. Cool compress and then seek medical attention because, you only have two eyes. You don't want to damage them. And that's why I say, wear safety goggles. And I've done this too. Just recently, I went out to weed eat, and I had went back in to take a break to get my water, and I left my glasses, my safety glasses, on the table. So I get way back down in the yard. I'm like, I just have this little bit to do. But then no. So I walked back up and got my safety glasses. But I think that's really, really important. And again, it's your kids will see you doing it, so later on, hopefully they will follow in suit and protect their eyes too. And then when you're out in the sun, wear your sunglasses and protect your eyes. Eyes can get sunburned too.
Oh, wow.
And so we don't want that to happen. So sorry,
Yeah.
I just
No.
wanted to throw that in there.
No. That's awesome information. I'm extremely light sensitive, so I'm always wearing my sunglasses even when other people aren't. But I hadn't thought about making sure that it's got the side pieces when I'm out
Yes.
mowing. I'm so afraid of mowing accidents. I hadn't even thought about the flying up grass. I just don't want to fall off my mower.
Yes,
There's a whole continuing saga of me and lawnmowers. I'm always afraid my husband's going to fall off the mower, or I'm going to fall off the mower or something. But I hadn't thought about the grass blowing up into our eyes. Yeah, no, that's very good information.
And it's not only, you can get dust and then your eyes are itchy and burny. So you can always flush them a little bit. Again, if you're having blurred vision, eye pain, then, seek medical attention or call your eye doctor or have it checked out.
Yeah. It's important that we have some supplies in the house to kind of treat those kinds of things, because hopefully it doesn't get to the point where you have to go to an ER or something. What are some basic supplies that somebody should probably have in the house for these kinds of things, like for sunburns and such?
So for sunburn, first of all, if you've got a sunburn, cool compresses, cool shower, aloe vera or some of the after sun products is good to have. Ibuprofen, Tylenol will help the pain. You don't want to apply oily substances because sometimes that can hold the burn in. So getting the skin cooled off is one of the main things you want to do. But just having Benadryl, if you're having an allergic reaction, if you're having itching because you got a bunch of bug bites, having Benadryl is very helpful. Your Tylenol, your ibuprofen, some over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream, like I said, you get a mosquito bite and it's really itchy, you can use that. Ice packs in the freezer. So if you injure your hand in the ice machine, applying ice, you have a sprain, strain, apply ice, Band-Aids, a little bit of gauze, and then having some Neosporin or something there. So if you get that, little cut or something, you can cover it up and hopefully it'll heal without any problem.
So we talked about ticks. So, pull the tick off. We've been using tweezers and pulling the tick off. Is there something that we should put on it after we pull the tick off, or are we good once we just get rid of it?
Wash the area with soap and water. If you're not at a place that you have soap and water and you have your little alcohol hand gel, put that on there. I think one of the most important things is watch that area and remember, I had a tick bite on my left hand or I had a tick bite on my left leg, so that you can kind of watch that area and make sure you're not getting that bullseye rash or, redness or, any problem.
One of the things, actually, my son texted me a picture. He's got a rash on his leg right now, and Dr. Mom, and
yes,
So I guess it's better than Dr. Google. But so he sends me the picture of the rash, and I said, I told him what I thought it was, and he said there's one spot that is more bothersome than anything else. I told him, well, take a pen and draw around it, and you'll have an idea. So that way, if it hurts further out, you know you need to go get medical attention. I think it's just a bug bite, but and he's like, oh, that's a really good idea. And he's got the photo that he sent me of the rash. And I know that at one point I went to a doctor and they're like, well, has it gotten bigger? And I said, well, here's the picture of what it looked like, a couple of days ago when I sent it to somebody else to ask them what it meant. And they're like, oh, yeah, that has gotten bigger. So I would think documenting things like that, because a lot of times we forget. Or if it takes 4 to 6 weeks where you have to really wait until till the antibodies build up in your system to be tested. And it's like, okay, was that bite on my left hand or was it on my right hand?
Right.
You know, was it on my leg? I don't remember. I would think, you know, like take a photo of it, just keep it on your phone.
Yes.
And what's the worst that happens? It's a photo on your phone that you delete. So.
And that's the good thing about cell phones now, is having the ability to document things. And yes, it was this big, but now it's this big. And yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, that came from during COVID with the telemed stuff, where if you had something, you had to send a picture to your provider and say, hey, does this look bad? Basically what my son does to me. And I still do it with my doctor. I go into the system and I, you know, attach a photo and say, I don't know if I need to come in for this. So I would think that, you know, use what you have around you, because I would think that it would help as a provider
Yes.
to say, you know, because once you're sitting in the room and they're like, how do you feel? Oh, I'm okay. Well, if you're okay, why are you necessarily sitting here? But you can remember things a little better, because then you can say, oh, I had this and I had this and I had this, and here's the photo that goes with it,
Right.
or the video or whatever. So
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
yeah, I would think that would help. I know as a patient it would help, because I forget things as soon as I get into the room.
Right.
You know, your anxiety hits and everything, and all the million things that you have to do after your doctor's appointment, or going in for an immunization or whatever it is. You know, we all have our list of things that we have to get to for the day, and going to the medical clinic is just one thing that you're checking off the list. And you're like, okay, I have to go to the grocery store, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. So when you're sitting in the room, you may forget the things that you wanted to say.
Right.
So.
And I think
Or
it's
downplay it.
fine for patients to come in with a list, because you're right. You get in and first of all you're registering, and then the nurse is getting your weight and your vital signs, and she's asking her questions. And by the time I get in the room, you know, there's been a lot of information, and you might forget.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always tell patients, make a list so that you don't forget anything. But I always tell patients also, if you get home and you forgot to tell me something or forgot to ask me something, reach out to me on the portal, call and leave me a message, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I actually use my phone for that too. So when something pops into my head like, oh, this doesn't feel right, I have just a random notes in my phone of like, probably should ask the doctor about this. And it's just a list of things. And then the next time I go in, it's like, they're not like critical or life-threatening things. They're more like, you know, annoying things. Like, why does this do this? Or maybe I should check this spot. Or, you know, so that when I sit in the room, I
Right.
get like stuck on one thing, and then you have to make an appointment to come back about the other things. It's like, well, I'm already sitting here. Let's ask about all of the things. And you never know; they could all be related. So, yeah, you just never know until you ask about it. So I think that's awesome. I love the fact that you have that you're building relationships with your patients.
And
so.
that's the good thing about family practice, is you get to know your patient. So when someone walks in and they've been my patient, I know, like, we're not feeling good today, or, oh, you look so much better than you did last time. I can tell you're feeling better. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
And you get to know not only them, but also their family. And you get the chance to do a lot of education, which I think is so important for patients, whether we're talking about their cholesterol or heart disease or diabetes. You know, that's one of my favorite parts, is, you know, like educating the patient and trying to help them so that they can live a healthy life.
Well, you never know if you're educating one person, you're actually educating
Exactly.
an entire family or a community as well, because they're going to share that information.
Right.
You know, whether it's through their habits, somebody saying, "Oh, why are you doing that?" and they can say, "Oh, well, I'm doing this because I have to do this, this, and this," or it's they notice something in somebody else, like, "Oh my gosh, I had that too. You probably should go have
Right.
that checked out."
Yes.
You know, this is not just an annoying thing. This is something you really want to go get checked
Yes.
out. So I think health education is probably one of the more important parts of keeping us a healthy society. So.
And you know, we do have Dr. Google, which can be a great thing, but unfortunately it can also scare you to death.
Oh gosh, yes.
So
I don't know
you
how
have
many times I've like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have an aneurysm or something.
Yeah. You
No,
have
I
to be
just
very
have a
careful.
headache. Yeah, I just have a headache.
Yeah.
So.
the other I think summer safety item I wanted to talk about is food safety.
Okay.
So everybody's going to picnics and, you know, family reunions. the food setting out, please be very careful. So if you have cold food, you've got your deviled eggs, your potato salad, whatever, it's okay to put that back in the cooler on ice and then get it out again rather than let it set out. You want to make sure that cold food is less than 40 degrees. The same thing with hot food. You can get, food poisoning from hot food in the summer, just the same. So make sure you cover your food because you don't want the flies and mosquitoes landing on it. But also, keep it cool and get it back out if you need to. But I've seen some cases
nobody wants food poisoning.
that. Yes.
Yeah, nobody wants food poisoning. That's a horrible way to spend your summer.
Yes.
That's one of the worst ways you can spend your summer. So, if somebody wants to get in contact with your office, whether they're an existing patient or a new patient, how would they go about doing that?
So you can call 395-4-Holzer, and you can ask to get an appointment with Susan in Oak Hill.
Okay.
I also take walk-ins. I ask patients, to call and make an appointment, but if they need to, they can walk in. I always try to see them. Sometimes there's a little bit more of a wait if, the schedule's booked, but we will take walk-ins. And if you're needing to see me right away and, they're saying that, she doesn't have any availability, I tell patients, then ask them to send me a message, send me a direct message. And I can look at it and, sometimes we can work patients in, or if I have a cancellation, we can call and say, hey, can you come in today? So.
And once again, your hours?
So we are there Monday through Thursday. We start at 7. We're there till 5:30. We're off on Fridays. If I'm on vacation, sometimes there is another provider that covers me. Sometimes there's not a provider there, but we do have staff there. And staff can, if someone's really needing to be seen, they know who has availability and can kind of guide them. We can still do labs if, a patient's needing to get their labs done, they can come in and get that done. So.
Well, that is an awesome service. I'm so happy to hear that there's a satellite available in Oak Hill so that people don't have to come all the way into Jackson or gosh, even further,
we are
down
so
to
happy
or something.
Yeah, we are so happy to be there. The community's been great, and like I said, Holzer did a wonderful job with our office, and we picked the best team, I think. I guess everybody says that about the people they work with, but
not always.
I really believe that we do have a great team that want to take care of patients.
Once again, I think that it's one of those things where, especially in health, that having a team that works together well just benefits everybody in the community.
Yes, I agree.
If there's drama or infighting or people not supporting other people, it's going to radiate out to your patients.
Right.
So it's awesome to hear that that you guys all work together so well, because that's the patient experience that I'm sure that you want to provide.
It is.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We love it when Holzer's in the house. So we are going to hear from our sponsors, and then we will be back with Rachel from Movies at Manpower.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, a telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man...
Welcome back, and we are here with Rachel from Movies at Manpower, and it is tomorrow night. I mean, how has it already been a month?
I know.
Since the last one? It just seemed like that one was just like yesterday.
I know.
And we're actually even a week beyond
Yes.
when it normally would have been, because last Thursday was the 3rd of July celebration. So there was already so much stuff going on at Manpower. But it just doesn't even seem like it's been a month, let alone a month and a week.
Oh, I know.
That's crazy.
But we stay busy, trying to make it fun and coming up with new ideas in between each movie, and we kind of learn something from each time we do it. So I'm excited, very excited for what's going on tomorrow.
It looked like there was a really good crowd at the park
Yes.
for the last movie. We came towards the end. No, I guess it wasn't towards the end. The movie had already started, but we had been at trivia at Stockroom, and then afterwards we walked over, and it looked like there was a large crowd on the grass. Everybody was having fun. They were stopping to get food.
Well, that's the nice thing is that you can come and go as you please. You don't need to feel stressed if your kid doesn't want to sit down for the whole movie because the park's right there. It's really nice and relaxing.
I would think so. I mean, especially with the playground right there.
Yes.
So if you've got kids that are runners that need that movement in order to enjoy stuff, I mean, they've got the grass, they've got the playground, but you can still enjoy the movie at the same time. So I think it's a great location. So tomorrow night, pretty exciting. So have a clue for our movies?
No, you can go on our Facebook page where all those clues are. We're not allowed to say the title of the movie for licensing purposes, but trust me, if you go on the Facebook page, it will be pretty obvious what we're playing. Also, we polled the community once again, so the winner is posted as far as who won out on the poll. But tomorrow is going to be about more than the movie, which I'm really excited about. We joined forces with Jackson Area Family Activities Center, JFAC. They're going to be hosting a kickball game tomorrow from
I'm so excited about that.
6 to 8 p.m. We separated it into 3 age groups, basically, kids, teens, and adults-ish at 16 and over. And for the first annual kickball tournament, I think we have a good turnout. So people could register online through the city. There was a link on our Facebook page, and it started out slow, as far as signups were concerned. But we have 12 people now, and I know we're going to have more because we have a few that just haven't signed up, so we reopened registration. And I just want to say, please come out to the park if you want to play, and we can just have you sign a waiver at the park. All are welcome. We really want to make this a fun event for the community. I have zero athletic ability. I think it makes it more fun.
I don't think I've played kickball since I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, it's a good time. And the funny thing is we got different size kickballs based on recommendations online. If you're playing with little kids, maybe have a larger kickball. So we have them of all sizes. That should make for a good time too. So based on the numbers, I think probably we'll start the game closer to 7, but I would say show up at between 6 and 6:30 to get on your team. Or if you need to sign a waiver. And JFAC is going to be providing popsicles and water and some information on the programs that they offer, as well as how to become a member of JFAC. So that'll be great. And then that's going to lead us right into the movie, which starts at 9. And we're going to have all of the same wonderful vendors that we had last month. And we're also going to have the addition of Spun Sweetness, which offers cotton candy. So that's kind of a nice treat.
It doesn't get better than cotton candy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, popsicles are great, but it doesn't get better than cotton candy.
The theme of the night, hence the new
nice shirt
I have for movies, and then it says Manpower at the back, is Jersey Night. So we want you to come with your friends, your family, your team. Make it a night to remember. Wear a jersey. Represent your favorite team. If you're not on a team, like a t-ball or softball team, totally fine. Do you play basketball? Or you just like a specific sports team, then wear that.
I haven't been here that long, but it seems like everybody's got something that's an Ohio State.
Oh, sure.
Team
Ohio State
shirt or Ohio University.
Marshall. I always see a lot of Marshall with it being nearby.
So I'm sure that everybody has at least one of those 3
absolutely
in their closet. Even I do. So yeah, if I do, then everybody does.
We'll have a table set up near the movie. So if you've been before, it's a huge inflatable screen, and we'll have the table set up there. So if you wear a jersey tomorrow night, please stop by and see me at the table and fill out a raffle ticket for a chance to win a couple awesome prizes. We have Reds baseball tickets and bobbleheads, and those are sponsored by Total Media Group. We're excited about that.
So you can wear your jersey in the park, and then you can win baseball tickets and wear your jersey at America's Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Yep.
So go Reds.
So again, the movie starts at 9 p.m. tomorrow. The weather's looking a little similar to last month, where we were making the call at the very last minute. It was around 2 o'clock that we made the final decision, and I foresee it going that way tomorrow. We always have a rain date in mind, and we're discussing that now, if it's going to be next Thursday or the following Thursday in the event that there's a thunderstorm. But we follow the same policy every time, and that's based on what the equipment company allows, and that's posted on our webpage. So you can find more information about that on moviesatmanpower.com, and we do frequent updates on Facebook. So
Yes, you're very active on Facebook.
yeah.
And bringing up the Facebook, so tomorrow's movie is already set, but I would assume the polling for next month's movie is going to open shortly thereafter. Yes?
Yeah. It's so funny. I've been so, involved in this July one and trying to make it fun. And I
think you
haven't
succeeded.
given much thought to August that much. There's a little bit of thought process that goes into it, but ideas kind of just come to us, and we'll put it out there. I don't know if we'll have a theme or not, with us, everyone going back to school and wrapping up the summer, but something fun for sure. And then we'll have September and October as our finale. I'm sure that'll be Halloween themed.
Which is where it all started.
That's right.
Last year we'll have come full circle, and you will have completed your first year.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost
pretty good.
a year in the bag. So very exciting. So anything else you want to share with everybody?
I think that's it.
Everything on your list?
Just come out and check our Facebook page for updates, and we look forward to seeing everyone.
It's the best of small town feel. It's the getting together. It doesn't cost anything.
That's right.
You can buy food in the park if you want, or you can bring your food with you and picnic on the grass, or eat before you get there and just enjoy cotton candy because it's cotton candy. I'm actually most excited about that. But yeah, just throw your blanket down on the grass and enjoy a movie with the kids, or if you don't have kids, still come out. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah. This movie is good for everyone, all ages. Of course, our movies are always PG. And I think everyone's going to like this movie. As the poll indicated, it was the top runner.
So very exciting. So
thank you.
No problem. Always good to have you here. And we'll have her back in a couple of weeks when it's time for the August one. So,
Yep.
With information of what's going to be fun in the park for
Yes.
Movies Manpower. So we have a word from our sponsors, Adrian? Yes, we have a word from our sponsors, and then we will be back with a little bit of news on yesterday's fire.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
Welcome back. So Pete is away and Jeremiah's out covering the news. But yesterday there was a big news story. I'm sure that you heard about it or read about it. The historic Hotel McArthur caught fire. It was a devastating event for the city and for the county. We have some photos that were reader submitted and a couple from Jeremiah, and he gave us a little briefing on it. So a major fire broke out yesterday morning at the historic Hotel McArthur in downtown McArthur. The smoke was spotted around 9 a.m. coming from the old hotel located at 101 East Main Street. The fire raised serious concerns because of nearby businesses, including the Vinton County Courthouse and a gas station. Firefighters from McArthur and surrounding counties responded quickly, but during the battle, the roof of the building collapsed. At one point, flames and thick black smoke could be seen. The hotel, built in 1839, was the oldest building in Vinton County. It was home to the Vinton County Convention and Visitors Bureau, which recently secured $2.8 million in grant funding to renovate the space. Right now, the full extent of the damage isn't known, and the cause of the fire remains under investigation. The Ohio State Fire Marshal's office was called to the scene to determine the cause of the fire. And stay tuned. The Telegram and our family of media platforms and radio stations will continue to follow the story. There was a little briefing in today's issue of the Telegram, and they're preparing a larger story for the Saturday issue. So you can either pick up your copy of the paper if it isn't delivered to you. It's available at newsstands and local stores, or you can check us out online, thetelegramnews.com, or on Facebook, The Telegram News, and there'll be updates about the fire as our reporters are made aware of it. We have some coverage from last weekend's 4th of July festivities. We have a video from Jeremiah that cover Oak Hill that we'd like to share with you, and that'll close out our show today. Tomorrow, Jen will be back. Yay! I'm sure you guys are all excited. Jen will be back tomorrow, and so we'll be back to normal. And I believe we are joined tomorrow by Red Thompson Jr., that'll be sharing news from the Telegram. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you back tomorrow. Stay tuned right now for Jeremiah's coverage from the Oak Hill fireworks.
All right, so for anybody just tuning in, this is your Oak Hill 4th of July parade. This is organized by the Oak Hill Athletic Boosters, and right now I am filming this from the intersection of Main Street and Park Street, and we are here to bring you live coverage of this annual event here. So leading the parade here this evening, you have the Oak Hill Police Department leading the parade, and I do believe Oak Hill Police Chief Davey Ward is in the lead car here as they make their way through the parade. So there goes Davey, and behind them we have a unit from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Oh, got a puppy. That's Carnival Prince making their way through. Then we have the Oak Hill Festival of Flags royalty here. They were just crowned back Memorial Day weekend, making their appearance here in the village. Coming up next, making the trip down 93 most of the way, because as we know it is closed, we have the royalty from the Jackson Apple Festival. It is held the third full week in September. And coming up behind, we have the Southern Ohio Sweethearts. And coming up next, we got a line of classic cars making their way through the parade here. Always neat to see these cars in the parades. I do believe a lot of these cars, it's a part of the Appalachia Old Car Club, I do believe. So that's the Southern A Model A Club out of Gallipolis, making the trip up to the village. So they're Model A's. Making their way through. We got another one of the decorated golf carts. I do believe they have a contest for this. So that's Hometown Sports and More. And behind them, we have a unit from the Ohio State Patrol. through. And then coming up next, we've got the different sports teams. So here they are. Raining down candy. Throwing candy every which way. And coming up behind them, we got the Oak Hill Cheer making their way through. There they go. Oh, and I see Archie the Acorn back there. Making it. Oh, he's wearing patriotic pants. Check him out. Very good. We got some more. This is Oak Hill Oaks volleyball making their way through. As it is, got all the Oak Hill athletic boosters making their way through. All right, got some of the little ball teams there. Got the Madison Jefferson Fire Department. That's Engine 1 making its way through. Have another unit from the Madison Jefferson Fire Department. That's Tanker 7. Making its way through. Another unit from the Madison Jefferson Fire Department. Got a unit from Bloomfield. This is 1101 Fire and Rescue. Another unit from Bloomfield Fire and Rescue. This is 1102. And bringing up the rear here, another unit from the Bloomfield Fire Department. Got a cute little guy riding shotgun there. That is 1117 and the Bloomfield Fire and Rescue there. So there you have it.